Good morning, chat. Good morning. First and foremost, let's bless this beautiful early morning with a sip of coffee. Cheers, chat. Beautiful. Now I'm ready. Now I am ready. Good morning. Good morning. All right, here we go. We have Fabi trying to catch up at the US Masters with Mr. Nicolas Theodorou. Theodorou. He's doing quite well, Theodorou, that is. 6.5 out of 7 possible points and an absolutely devastating rating performance of, I believe, over 2,900. Quite impressive. Now, Fabi, on the other hand, he's also doing quite well. He's on 6 out of 7. In fact, I believe he's gaining rating points right now, which is kind of silly considering that he's, over 2,800 and he's playing players mostly rated a lot lower than him. So he's basically in a situation where he's close to a must-win in every single game, which is not easy. The pressure to always win your games can definitely get to you precisely at the wrong moments. But so far so good. Look, he's fighting for a lot of circuit points. That is kind of the plan. His plan is to qualify, or at least put his best foot forward when it comes to his qualification efforts for the 2026 candidates. So he needs to stack up as many FIDE circuit points as possible. Did I help Fabi prepare for this tournament? I did not help Fabi prepare for this tournament. No. I don't think he has done as much preparation with anybody but himself. Generally, when there's no closed event tournaments, he's not going to be doing much preparation with other people. That's the way it operates. Now, what's the main tie breaks for the tournament? I do believe there will be, for the title and the trophy, there will be a tie breaks match, like a playoff type of match, a tiebreaker. But in terms of FIDE circuit points as well as money, I do believe that the players will share. So if there is, at the end of the tournament, multiple players tied for the first position, I believe the top 2 will play a tiebreakers for the trophy and perhaps like a very small bonus prize. Why is there no candidates 2025? Because usually we have candidates and world championship matches every 2 years. This is how it's been working for a very long time now. I believe there was somewhat of an exception because of all those COVID years, but outside of that, generally it's every 2 years. Okay, let's swiftly go through the opening phase, which is not much so far, but this is what we have for the moment. Fabi decides to start with e4. In fact, against Nico, he started with c4, and things did not go very well for him in that one. Which message? Which message do you want me to pin? Oh, this one, US Masters. Yeah, I might be doing something along those lines. So he decided to switch things up because c4 didn't really work out for him. And generally in this type of open events with not that much time to prepare, you generally want to switch things up. Knight c3, not some of Fabi's main lines, but rather the closed Sicilian, what they call the closed Sicilian with knight c3, a6, and knight e2. Now you're already starting once again at potentially transitioning into the open Sicilian with d4. So, for example, if black goes knight c6, you can even go d4 here. And you basically transposed into an open Sicilian with a6 and knight c3 included, which generally favors white from this transition perspective. So Matviishen says, okay, I don't want to put my knight on c6 yet. I do not want to commit to that. I'm going to go d6. Now, if you go d4, then I can just simply take knight f6, and now we have a transposition into the Najdorf. So he plays g3. Obviously, already Fabi is signaling that he wants to shy away from all the mainline Najdorf theory or any other type of theory that the open Sicilian provides. And he's like, no, you know what? I just want to play somewhat of an easy and slower game. So he goes g3. And already Matviishen is thinking. Now, let's keep going around the horn a little bit and see what's happening in the other game. And that is the game of Grigory Oparin on board 3. Oh, never mind. Grigory Oparin on board 3 has not played yet. So let's look at Alexander Donchenko versus Nico Theodorou. Oh, there's also just one move that has been played so far. So on your screen right now, you can see good buddy Donchenko and Nico Theodorou, who's deep in thought already. Deep in thought already. And finally, we're seeing a move from Theodorou, which is kind of crazy, right? Because Theodorou is down to an hour and 18 minutes. Did he just spend 12 minutes on move 1? I think he just spent 12 minutes on move 1. Which is a little bit crazy. Or he might just have been late to the game, and then he just decided to spend a couple more minutes to decide against knight f3. Again, the problem is the pairings for this type of open events, they only come out like an hour before the round. So based on that, it's just you don't have a lot of time to prepare. He did win the last game, yes. He did win the last game, the one where he had yesterday, last night. We were all here in the chat. We had a good time in the chat. But yes, he did win his last game, where he had a very nice knight takes e5. Of course, we're talking about Fabiano right now. All right, let's get back to Fabi. Let's see if anything has been played. Yes! We do have a move. A move was just played. e5 by Victor Matviishen. To give you guys some context, Victor Matviishen is a very decent player. Very, very strong, I would say, grandmaster. Not up and coming. I believe right now he's already 20-something. He's a little bit, maybe close to 25, but still a very, very strong player, hailing from Ukraine, right now studying at Texas Tech University in Texas under the tutelage and mentorship of Mr. Alexander Onishchuk. Is this like a reverse Stonewall? No, it's just a Sicilian. Not necessarily a Stonewall. I mean, the Stonewall, first of all, that's not reversed, right? This is the Stonewall. This is the main Stonewall. Say E3, F5. Like, this is the Stonewall. There's nothing reversed. It's just it's a different setup. It's a Stonewall on the dark squares. No, Nico is 6.5 out of 7. Nico is 6.5 out of 7. So no Stonewall. It's just a different type of very solid looking pawn structure. Obviously controlling very well the d4 square. And it's going to be kind of difficult to do c3 and d4. So what I do think Fabi is going to focus on is actually breaking via f4. I think f4 is going to be his main break in this one. Was Fabi's last result a draw? No. Fabi is on 6 out of 7. He did win his last game, but he did lose his first game yesterday against Nico Theodorou, who's on 6.5 and is the leader. Fabi's trailing by half a point. So, look, to be honest, Theodorou has a very difficult game today. He's playing against Alexander Donchenko, one of the favorites also going into this event, so a very strong player himself. Used to be close to 2,700. So definitely not an easy walk in the park, and he's playing with the black pieces. These are the last 2 rounds. These are the championship rounds, guys. Championship rounds. Wait. Are we actually... Did we just see a draw? What? My boy, Ishik Khan, decided to make a draw. I'm wondering why. Actually, I think I know the answer as to why. I believe he might have... Okay. So Ishik, with the black pieces, just made a draw right now against Evan Park. He offered a draw after a castle. What I think the situation here is, and I'm not going to speculate until I know more, he's probably making a GM norm. Yes. He's probably making a GM norm. Yeah, he's been having a very good result so far. Has defeated a couple of GMs in the process, has played against Fabi, lost against Fabi, but still played a very good tournament so far. He has a rating performance of over 2,600. So I think this is more of a strategic draw. And probably there's some sort of a draw. There's some sort of a norm. Probably a GM norm. Oh yeah, Evan Park also has a GM norm. Yeah, Evan Park also makes a GM norm, I think, with this one. Even though it probably still requires them to not lose the last round. Maybe Evan Park already has made the GM norm. Ishik, I think, probably still has to not lose the last round. Okay, back to Fabi. Bishop to g2 after e5 was played, obviously. Pretty natural move. And g6. So we're going to see a double fianchetto type of situation. Well, not double. Mirrored fianchetto. g3 and g6. This is the way Matviishen decides to play this position, which makes some sense because After castle, bishop g7, let's say d3, knight e7, very typical moves. I'm just showing you guys some typical ideas in the position. At some point, you will probably go f4 as white. Again, this is the way to break this structure. You don't have to hurry, by the way. You can go bishop to e3, castle, let's say queen to d2. At some point, you will start looking at ideas of bishop h6, but f4 will most likely come also. And whenever f4 comes, you have the option as black to take and then lengthen the action of your bishop on g7. So Fabi said he got his third GM norm by having his opponent giving him a draw. What do you mean giving him a draw? Is Hans Niemann in the tournament? Hans is not in the tournament, no. Hans is not in the tournament. Yeah, no, so it's quite important that Fabi does well in this game. I think it's highly important that Fabi does well in this game. Because with the white pieces, he should be searching for a victory. Especially against a player that, you know, he hasn't necessarily. I mean, he should be the clear favorite against Victor Matviishen. He's a 25-60 player, very good, very strong, but still, Fabi with the white pieces should clearly be the favorite. Well, I mean, are we considering a Wander a youngster? Are we still considering a Wander a youngster? What about me? I will be playing next tournament at the St. Louis Masters. Normally, I don't play that much. It's quite clear. I don't really play that much anymore. My focus is on commentary and on coaching, but I do enjoy very much occasionally playing. I do enjoy very much occasionally playing. Do I think Hans will be in the race for the candidates? I don't think so, at least not this... I don't see him this cycle, this next cycle, the 2026 cycle. But I might be wrong. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? All right, so d3, bishop g7, obviously a very natural way of continuing. I'm expecting castle. Even though Fabi does not have to hurry with castle. You can also just go bishop e3, let's say knight e7, and now queen d2. And then say that if you castle, I might be interested in going h4 and trying to launch an attack ASAP on that side before I commit to castle. Because now, for example, if you go h5, then I can start looking at ideas of f3 followed by g4. A pawn sacrifice like this with the king in the center, I can always castle long. And then I might try to checkmate you. So yeah, I think this is what Fabi's right now thinking. A Wander is 21, yeah. A wonder is 21. So I I don't know if I can call him a youngster anymore. 21 seems. Is it best move right now, h4? I mean, again, h4 is a very typical way of trying to play this type of position, but I would not commit to it before I'm not ready with bishop to e3 and before he has castled. Like, what I would do in this position is wait for black to castle. That's why after bishop e3, knight e7, queen d2, maybe what black should do is not in fact castle first. Because I do think after castle h4 might be a little bit problematic. But perhaps you can wait as well. It's kind of like a waiting game, right? No, he's not. He's not guaranteed a candidate spot. If he wins this tournament, his chances increase, but he still needs to do quite well at the St. Louis Masters, which is coming one day after this one is over. Knight c6, yeah, queen d2, knight c6, and maybe right now you can start already with bishop h6. Like, for example, this is your dream. Actually, let's say bishop h6 and black goes castle. This is, I believe, a very healthy position for white, even though the computer doesn't agree with me and it says that after f6 black is defending with accuracy. It's still, it feels quite good for white. Whenever the castle is already committed by black, then you can start thinking about h4, especially if the rook is still on h1. If the rook is not on h1, if you already castled as white, then it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But these are the two plans that that Fabi has. So he's thinking right now after bishop to g7. How is Nico doing? Let's check out with him. Let's check with Nico and Alexander Donchenko. Okay. Here we go. That's Donchenko with the white pieces against the leader Nicolas Theodorou with the black pieces. And let's see what we got here. So knight f3, c4, e6, b3, a very cagey approach. Double fianchetto, bishop to b7, bishop g2, and castle. Now, we're still very early on in this one. And after castle, you can play it in a couple of ways as black. You can go d6 or you can go d5. These are the two main, let's say, options. But you can also start with c5. So it's kind of a decision moment. Not necessarily pivotal moment, but a decision moment in the opening phase for black, for Nico. How do you want to set up your pawn structure? Do you want to take a more, let's say, expectative waiting with d6, a bit more of a mobile approach, flexible approach? The problem with d6 is that you are giving me the space, right, after d4. Nicolas is 6.5 out of 7. Am I retired from classical chess? You could say that I'm fairly retired from chess as a player. Yeah, I don't play that much. I play maybe a couple of tournaments every year. It's not a lot. Not for the lack of not wanting, but just because I don't have as much time between the commentary and the coaching and the university and the YouTube channel. It's a lot. So whenever I have, let's say, a week or a couple of weeks at home, I generally prefer not to go and play tournaments. I would rather focus on my coaching. Yeah, I think Ishik Khan will be getting his final GM. Well, I think it's his final GM norm, but he will be getting a GM norm if he finishes strong tonight. And by strong I mean probably just not lose. I think as long as he doesn't lose, he should likely get it. So yeah, still a big moment. Big-ish moment. It's the opening phase, guys. Not that much is happening right now. Let's see what Fabi's doing. Fabi has played the move as well. Let's quickly... Oh, okay. Well, this is a little bit of a wrinkle. I did not expect him to go 95, but this is why, these players are so good. My guess is that 95 is very much aimed against 97. At least for the moment, you cannot go 97. 97, bishop g5, this is already kind of unpleasant. You're not losing or anything, but it's unpleasant. Because now you have to go knight c6. I have options. I can even give you a check. Knight to f6. Probably not the best move, but, forcing you to go king f8, you generally don't want to calculate. If you have an option not to calculate, you probably will not want to calculate this. I can also just stay like this and wait for you to castle, maybe with a move such as f4. Set up a classical tournament for famous chess commentators. Yeah, could be an interesting idea. Fabi getting second still good for the FIDE circuit. I mean, first is much better. I think that's quite obvious. But I don't know exactly what the difference in points will be. I believe somebody did some sort of a math equation, and they were saying that Fabi most likely needs to score in the top 4 in both this one and the St. Louis Masters, but I'm pretty sure it likely helps if he gets first, especially because Arjun is playing Qatar Masters, and if he wins that one, he probably has a very decent shot at winning it all. So I don't know if Fabi's, let's say, faith is fully in his hands right now. But, winning Qatar Masters for Arjun is not easy either. Hopefully. Who is playing in St. Louis? There's a lot of players playing in St. Louis. It's a very strong event. I think it's stronger than this one. I am Pain. You have a couple of ways. One of them being, you can send me an email at christian@c2pod.com. Or you can use the business email that's probably in the description of our YouTube channel. Oh no, the Rapid and Blitz is definitely... If you're winning the Rapid and Blitz, you probably will get quite a few points. It is a World Championship, so winning it most likely offers you quite a few points. Interview Lecco. Now that's a very good proposition. Yes, I think Lecco would definitely be a fun one. We've had, we know Lecco quite well. He's such a... He doesn't do a lot of interviews, actually. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've seen him in a long-form interview ever. So that's a very good idea. That is a very good idea. You see, I was actually thinking who should be our next guest. And now you guys have given me a brilliant idea. So his commentary is very good. Yes, I like Leko as a commentator. I think he's one of the best. I think a lot of people believe that are of the opinion that Leko is a very good commentator. Magnus himself. Okay. You know what? New York City is, I mean, New York City is it's going to be such a hub. There's going to be so many players around there. The thing is, most likely I'm going to be playing. I'm trying to play. Fabi's going to be playing. Obviously, he's going to be focused very much on playing. There is a rest day, though. There is a rest day on, I believe it's, I want to say the 29th. Have we interviewed Danny Wrench? No. But again, we're open to talking about anything with anybody. Thank you, Super Coder. Yes. And the St. Louis Masters will be clashing with that as well. Obviously, we want to do the recaps, but with Fabi playing and me covering these last few games, we just simply don't have a lot of time. And luckily, there's not that much action going on. I do not want to wake up at 3 a.m. And I don't have the cameras. Like the thing is, the product would suffer, right? We don't have the cameras. I know you guys want to see the players. I would want to see the players if I was a viewer. No matter how much I would like a commentator, I would still prefer any feed that has a camera feed. Is Fabi's goals to be the most decorated USA champion? I don't know. I don't know what his goals are necessarily. I think his main goal is to win a world championship. I think that's the main goal, obviously. He's won everything else. That is... Okay, I am Pain. I'll check it out. I received it, yes. That's a very nice email. For that nice email, I'm going to make you a mod. I am Pain. Would you like to be a mod for the official C-Squared channel? How did I like the Romanian election results? I did not wait. Something has happened in the Romanian elections. I have not been following since the last, let's say, big development and big update, which was a few days ago, where they decided to recount. So they're doing a recount. I know exactly what's happening. I haven't been following too much. Any super GMs? The next player on the list, I believe it's a Wonder, the second rated player in this tournament, and he's about 2687, I think it's his FIDE, getting closer to 2700. Probably not after this tournament, because he did lose yesterday against 2500. Well, there's a recount, so I don't know exactly what's happening with the Romanian elections. I know there's some elections are today. These are the parliamentary elections. Fran, I would say maybe 7.5, 2.5. That would be my expected result. 7.5, 2.5, maybe 8-2 also. 8-2 is possible. I would say that's the expected result. Did Nico drop any points? Yes. Nico dropped half a point. All right, so let's unpack the last couple of moves. You can see Fabi's spending his time there. Actually, he's spending his opponent's time. So, knight d5, knight c6, not wanting to commit to this knight e7 idea, or knight to f6 because of this bishop to g5. And Fabi's like, you know what? I'm not touching this bishop yet. I'm not committing it to e3. I'm waiting for you to touch the knight, to put it on e7 or f6, so I can go bishop g5. I can set up this pin. This is what he wants. This is what Fabi wants. So for example, right now, if you go knight f6, I want to go most likely bishop to g5. You go h6. Now I can take. I can continue taking. And I do get the knight on d5. And after queen to d8, castle, you're facing the music. You really are facing the music on the king side. For example, if you go castle already, queen to d2, let's say king to g7, defend the pawn on h6, this is a big weakness. Now I immediately go f4. I go f4, I break you open. You don't have the defender, dark square bishop, which is quite problematic. So you're in trouble. You are in trouble right now. And this is what Fabi is trying to achieve. That's why he's waiting. That's why he's not playing bishop to g5 or bishop to e3 yet. Well, bishop g5 actually he cannot do. But he's not spending any time to commit with bishop to e3. It's a very smart approach. Very, very smart approach. Yeah, knight e7 is also a possibility. And after knight e7, I would do exactly the same thing. I would do bishop to g5. This is his idea. And after h6, I think he wants to plant a bishop on f6. He wants to get this bishop here. So right now, obviously, if you take, king f8, you're going to have the same problem. Sure, you're going to get the king to g7, going to kick my knight away, but you're going to have the same problem. And that is, I'm going to go queen d2, short castle, and then I'm going to go f4. I'm going to open up the f-file, and you don't have the dark square bishop anymore. The dark square bishop protects you. You don't have it anymore. So these are the type of discussions that they're having right now. This should be called farming for candidates. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. Give me just 1 second, guys. I just got my... Let's see if I can... Customization, thumbnail. All right, let me get... I have a nice thumbnail for you guys. All right, there we go. I got a nice thumbnail for this stream, so that it shows in other people's feeds. It shows in more people's feeds. Alireza created his tournament. Well, yes, that was last year. But Alireza needed ratings, so he needed to win rating. This is a completely different situation. This is for circuit points. There's no rating situation. There's no rating discussion right now. Do you like it? You like the thumbnail? Has it? How's Ding's betting odds look like? Let's check Polymarket. I'm actually kind of curious. Let's see what Polymarket says. World Chess Championship 2024 winner. Ding has a 38% chance. 37% chance. Interesting. Well, he had a 46% chance at some point today, in fact. That's kind of crazy. It went from 46% chance to 37% chance after he made a draw. So at some point the bettors probably expected him to win, or at least thought that he had a good chance. Hello everybody. Hello Botcock. That's Botcott. Oh yeah, 38% chance is still very good. I think he started with a lower chance. Oh yeah, he started about, wow, he started about 26, 20, in the 20s. He was in the 20s for a very long time. His highest was after he won. And obviously, yeah, he's been bouncing around between 30 and 37% or something like that. He was a slight underdog even after winning, yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Yeah, no, it's a little bit problematic. I'm seeing what's happening with Ding, and to be honest, this has been happening with him for the duration of the last year. Like this whole last year, and we've in fact talked about it. It's basically Ding plays very decent chess up to a certain point, gets out of the opening usually, sometimes even with an advantage. And whenever the third and fourth hour rolls in, he is having huge problems. Like it's It's not stamina. I think it's just some sort of a mental stamina that he's lacking. So, yeah. To be honest, very often these world championships have been decided by vibes. Yeah, I don't know. I always feel like there's a more deserving player that should be winning, and in this case, look, I have to say it. It's Gukesh. Gukesh, like the timeline where Gukesh wins it, is the one that I feel should become reality, if that makes sense. Like, this is what the universe should be conspiring to put us through. A timeline where Gukesh is the world champion. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for Ding right now. He's not taking enough risks. Everybody knows he's not the best player on the planet. Not even remotely close to that. Like right now he's about number 20 or something in the rating list. Obviously, and this is not me bashing necessarily Ding. He's a tremendous player and he's been among the best. But it just, the vibes don't align. The vibes don't align. Ding versus Nepo, you see, that's when it felt like everything is kind of aligning for a Ding victory though, right? I feel that's the way it was. Because Ding came out of nowhere. Like, he got to the candidates because Karyakin dropped. Well, Karyakin was cancelled. So he got in based on that. In the last minute. Then he got the second place. He didn't win the candidates. And that was still enough to go to the World Championship. So everything conspired. The vibes conspired for Ding to become the world champion. Like the universe script, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you feel like the universe is scripting a certain scenario, right? Wait a minute. I'm just trying to figure things out. Did Dan Fernandez just come to the board or something like that? Let's check on Oparin versus Dan Fernandez. E4, E6, D4, D5. E5, C5, C3, Bishop D7, Knight F3, Queen B6. Everybody plays the French nowadays. Bishop to E2. Take, take, Bishop B5. Somewhat of a similar approach. Somewhat of a natural approach, trying to get this Bishop D7, delay Knight to C6 so that you don't cover that diagonal, and utilize this setup to basically get rid of one of your worst pieces. And that is the bishop. So he won bishop to b5. I don't think this has been played. Actually, it has been played quite a few times. It is still very much mainline theory, it seems like. Knight to c3. So that's basically, just to get back to that Ding discussion. Right now, the vibes seem to be just Gukesh, 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 Gukesh. And it's almost like Ding doesn't even want to win it. Like, he's not trying too hard. Like, even today, right? Today he got, at some point, I think he was better. Yesterday, I think at some point he was better with black. And then always whenever that's the case, his assessment is very misjudged. It's just not good. It really is not good. So, I don't know. The vibes are telling me that Gukesh will become a world champion. The vibes in 2018 were Fabi. Yeah, look, the vibes sometimes can go wrong. But I don't know. Against Magnus, was it? Were the vibes? The vibes were very, very closely matched in that one, right? We didn't really know what's going to happen in that one. There was no... I mean, I would say it's very difficult to put Magnus as not the favorite, but he wasn't a clear favorite. Going into this one, again, Gukesh was sitting around 75 to 80% as the favorite. Vibes don't work on Magnus. Yeah, it's with Magnus is a little bit tricky. I wouldn't go too vibey with Magnus. You think Ding was the underdog last time? Well, Ding was still 2,800. I think Ding, in fact, was the higher rated player at that time when he played Nepo. I might be wrong. I don't remember exactly. But I think at that point, Ding was higher rated than Nepo going into that match. It's not tea, it's just coffee. I'm drinking some coffee. Okay, so this is the position in Grigory's game. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It's still early on. Knight to c3. We're going to see the exchange of the light square bishops. White is going to castle. Maybe reshuffle the knight to d3. That makes some sense. Or maybe even via g5. And basically what White is going to try to do is set up for an attack on the king side. f4, f5 is going to come at one point or the other. Okay, back to Fabi. Back to Fabi because it's kind of an important moment. Every moment is important at the beginning of, especially in the opening phase, because the opening phase dictates the way the game is going to develop, right? He fell off after winning, yes. But at that point, he was still higher rated. Well, Nepo was on fire because he did really well at the candidates. Like that was the concept, right? That's why Nepo was so much on fire, because he did really well at the candidates. So I don't know. But again, like there's a clear vibe necessity right now. The vibes are saying Gukesh should win this World Championship match. So, okay, again, it's a bit esoteric, right? It's a bit esoteric, but it would just feel a bit wrong if Ding wins this match against one of the most, I wouldn't necessarily call Gukesh exciting, but he is an exciting prospect and he's playing tremendous chess in this past year. He's won a lot of things in this past year. Won the candidates, incredible performance. Won the Olympiad, incredible performance. He's just been winning a lot, right? And Ding has not. I mean, Ding won 3 games this whole year. He won 3 games this whole year and lost like 80 rating points or something like that. So, and he doesn't even want to win. Like, he said that he started preparing for the World Championship match 3 weeks ago. I just simply cannot. If that is the case, I almost feel like he doesn't deserve to win. You know what I mean? Like, and this is what I'm talking about, vibes. Like, he hasn't put in the work. I can guarantee you that Gukesh has been spending months in training camp throughout the year. Months in anticipation of the candidates, guaranteed, and months in anticipation for the World Championship match. So he's been putting in the work. And then Ding comes in and he's like, yeah, I just started preparing like 3 weeks ago. I don't really know what I'm going to play with white. I don't really know what I'm going to play with black. But, you know, I've been vibing. I'm feeling good. So I don't know. I don't know. Like, when you don't put in the work, when you don't leave every stone unturned, it's a World Championship match. You know, you should be coming in with the best preparation that you can. He might be, look, he might be talking nonsense. That's also a possibility. He might be doing some Sun Tzu psychology. Ding might be just, talking nonsense, saying that he only has 3 weeks. It might have been a translation error. I don't know. It's very tough for me to believe that he's started preparation for the World Championship match 3 weeks ago. He's had one last time. I'm sure he didn't have 1 second. Maybe he has 2 seconds with him, but he had 1 with him last time. Not in preparation, but here. This is what he meant. So last time he was there with Richie Rapport, and I don't think anybody else was there with him. Right now he's with Richie Rapport, and if I'm not mistaken, Nihua, Grandmaster Nihua. So he does have 2 seconds on site with him. I'm pretty sure in both cases, both last World Championship match and this one, he's probably had multiple seconds working remotely. Yeah, they usually have more seconds working remotely. Like in 2018, for example, we were 4 outside of Fabi on the team. 2 of us were in London, and 2 of them were actually working from St. Louis. And that was working quite well because of time difference. And Magnus preps a lot. And that's why basically he stopped. That's the reason he stopped wanting to participate in these events. He understands how much you need to prepare. He knows how much you need to prepare, and it's a lot. He doesn't want to spend months in training camp, but he knows that you need to spend months in training camp. Oh, for sure, Gukesh. It's a difficult question because it's not going to happen. I'm not interested in that. What's up, Cesar? What's up, Rajesh? I'm pretty sure he did reveal his entire team in 2018. I'm pretty sure he revealed his entire team in 2018. Like, literally, if you go Google it, I'm pretty sure there's articles about it. We didn't really keep it that secret. We did not keep it that secret. I'm pretty sure Magnus is reaching a certain age and has achieved a lot of things, but he most likely just wants right now what every man at some point starts wanting, and that is, in his case, a family. I think that's his main focus. This is just me speculating, but from his general actions, this is what he wants to enjoy, the fruits of his labor. And that just simply excludes preparation for the World Championship match. Because it is tedious. It is a tedious process. It is a tedious process. For us, what? Can we talk about Rapport's shorts issue? I don't know what the issue is. Anyway, the last 2 moves. So after knight c3, his opponent, Victor Matviishen, was like, okay, I understand what you want. You're trying to go knight e7, knight f6. You're trying to go bishop to g5. So that's why I'm going to go knight c7. Now, if you go bishop to g5, h6, with the knight on g8, you don't have bishop f6, right? So it's a completely different approach. Now you just have to go back, basically. You have to go back, or you have to take on e7, which is not something that you wanted. So after knight e7, bishop g5 no longer works as well. So he decides to go castle, which makes a lot of sense. Now you're starting to get ready to go f4. If you give me one more move, let me go f4. In that case, knight f6 is not going to be possible for a very long time. You're starting to get down in development. So right now you need to make a big decision. Are you going to go knight f6? The problem with knight f6 is that I'm going to take, and now I go bishop to h6. No castle. No castle for the moment. If you try to go knight g8, then I just simply go bishop to e3 or bishop to d2, knight e7 back, and now I go f4. And I basically just won tempos. Rajesh, thank you very much for the super chats. 400 Indian rupees, I would assume. That's Indian rupees, right? I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Cheers to you, Rajesh. Thanks. Well, we had some. No, I think the one that you're thinking about is not from the Sveshnikov. The Sveshnikov, he didn't really have like an engine win. He just had a much better position. In fact, got an almost winning position, and then he made a slow move h3, which kind of threw it all away. I think the one you're thinking about, the engine one, was in fact with the black pieces. I think it was game 6 where he had the win with the black pieces in the Petrov. Like he had this end game, this 40 move study like, or basically just something the engine would only find. I think that's the one you're thinking about. That's Pakistan rupees. Okay, Pakistani rupees. Is it Indian rupees or what are you guys talking about? Are you guys baiting me? Are you guys baiting me? Also, I don't speak German. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't do German. Yeah, I think he was the one. I think he was the one with the black pieces. The hole on d5 is enormous. The hole on d5 is pretty significant right now, yes. So castle, and Fabi leans back in his chair. As you can see, he's feeling good. Let's see if I can do this. No, I cannot do this. This is maximum. Fabi, get back in the frame. Fabi does not want to be back in the frame. How many points Fabi has? Fabi has 6 out of 7. It's in the title, guys. It's in the title. It's in the title. Yeah, the hole on d5 is enormous. And this is kind of the difference in the pawn structure, right? So white has access to this beautiful square, while black does not really have access to this beautiful square on d4, because I always can go c3. I still have the pawn on c2, so I can control that square d4 in the center. So white is having a slight advantage because of that. Now, also, white has this extra option, and I would say not necessarily extra, but a much more unpleasant option of trying to open up, unpleasant for his opponent, of opening up things on the king side, opening up the front on the king side. ChatGPT Fabi seconds. Rustam Kasimjanov, Alexander Lenderman, Robert Hess, and Ivan Christian Kirilla. No. Okay, so ChatGPT doesn't actually understand. ChatGPT has some problems. Is the mic low, really? The mic should not be low. We've had that discussion yesterday, and the mic did not have... I did not change anything with the mic. Yeah, ChatGPT... I feel like ChatGPT got a bit worse. I think they're holding on. They're protecting their best stuff. I don't use ChatGPT anymore. I use something else. Mic is not low. Okay, you know what? I'll do it just a little bit higher. Just a little bit higher. Okay, I've done it. Just a little bit higher. Okay, we have them. Ooh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Get the brakes on. Hold on just a second. Wait a minute, mister. Wait a minute. H5, really? Okay, well, that's something. He's like, you know what? I'm not interested in castling anymore. I don't think I'm going to castle short side. Most likely that's not going to happen right now. H5, I'm going for the attack myself. That's what Matviishen is saying. And Fabi's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, I understand, my friend. You're ambitious in this one. You're showing some youngster's ambition. I understand, but I'm an old, experienced fox. I don't get scared by this type of things. I don't get scared by this type of expansions. I'm probably going to go F4, something like this. I want to go, why not? I think F4 is the move. I think this is what Fabi's going to do. And generally, whenever I say that, that usually doesn't happen. So my guess is that F4, maybe knight d5, knight takes d5, knight f6. If you take on f4 and then try to go for this check on d4, it doesn't really do much. Like, you can go h4 and say that with the king on h1 and the rook on h8, you have some good chances at getting something. But I don't think you do. I think I'm just simply going to take, which is a funny looking move if you think about it, because it feels like you're just helping me checkmate you. But bishop on f4 is such a great defender. And your king, in fact, is extremely weak. So, for example, if you take with the rook right now, you cannot take with the queen because knight to c7. Then you lose the rook on a8. And you're not checkmating me anytime soon. I'm the one attacking you right now. I can go queen e1. I can go queen to g3 next. You do have some huge problems with your pawn structure, with your development, with your king. So h4 is a very, very aggressive decision. And I would say somewhat, I wouldn't say rushed. I wouldn't say panicky move, but it is a big decision. It is a big decision. It is a big decision, and I'm not super impressed by it. I don't think Fabi's super impressed by it either, which is a good thing, because we want him to win this one. He needs to win this one. He needs to win this game. This is a big game right now. All right, let's let him think. I'm going to go on a short break, and I'll let you guys with the Quattro box. You know what the Quattro box is, right? I'll let you guys with the Quattro box, some Christmas songs, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes, maybe, something like that. Let me get you guys some nice Christmas songs. Christmas is coming. It's a celebration. It's a celebration. Oh, wait, no. Let's get some... So, some non-copyrighted music. Non-copyrighted music. Let's see if you guys like this one. See you guys soon. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Do we have any more moves after h5? The answer is I have not missed a bit. Hope you guys enjoyed the lo-fi Christmas music, or at least that's what YouTube was telling me it is. I saw somebody saying that why does Christian associate lo-fi with Christmas music? This is the only look. I've YouTubed it. I've said Christmas, lo-fi, no copyright, and this is what it gave me. So I cheated with the engine, but if Fabi plays b4 right now, it would be epic. b4 is definitely a move. Yeah. b4 is definitely a move. But to be honest, generally, I don't think he's going to go for anything b4 related before he goes a3. So if he does try to go for this plan, which I don't think he will, it just doesn't make that much sense. By the way, thank you very much to Ilka Mustonen for becoming a member of the C Squad. Welcome to the C Squad, Ilka, and thank you for the support. I do appreciate that. Now, after h5, you generally don't even think necessarily about doing something or doing much on the queen side. Though again, you know, Fabi will always surprise us in the way he thinks. I will try to do that in a second. I will try to explain the ding meme in a second, though I'm not 100% sure I'm the best suited to do that. Nevertheless, again, to reiterate my point, after h5, in general, I feel like you should be playing for f4 and you should be playing on the king side. You should be taking advantage of the fact that the king is still in the center. Now, if he starts signaling, if black starts signaling that he wants to go bishop e6, queen d7, even though long castle, this is extremely difficult with a knight on d5 already because you've played a6. You've played this move a6. So imagine this. Let's say I go bishop e3. I'm just going to make some random moves. You don't really have a very clear way of how you're going to go long castle. Queen d7 is always met by knight b6. You resign. So you cannot really do that. And if you cannot do that, then where do you put the king? Again, the question remains the same. Where do you put the king? You're not going on the queen side, as we have just seen. You probably want to go on the king side. But once you play h5, going on the king side becomes even more difficult than it used to be. And it was already quite difficult. So, I don't know. b4, I understand it's a move, but I wouldn't play on that side. If I were to do anything, I would try to go for f4. I think even f4 right now. Like, this is probably what I would go for. Just go f4. Now, the big question after f4 is take, and now I think you want to target my knight. You need to target my knight. You need to make use of the fact that I don't have bishop to g5. I don't have bishop to g5 right now. And I don't have that for one move. You only get one chance right now. You don't have a lot of time to go b5, hang around, bishop to e6, play some random moves. You have to target my knight, either with knight f6 or knight e7. I think knight f6 is just simply slightly better. Now, if you go f takes e5, I take on d5, you take on e5, probably with the bishop, maintain the length of this bishop. And then it seems like black is just having a very natural position, very good position. So this is the variation that I do believe Fabi is looking at right now. He's trying to go f4, but he's trying to make it work. And I'm not sure if it works as well, because if after knight f6 you have to drop back with a knight to c3, that's probably not what you want to do. You're just losing too many tempes. And somebody was saying that, oh wait, tempes is not the plural, you just have to say tempi. So I'm going to say tempi from now on. You see, I'm accepting your constructive criticism. How well does Fabi know Victor? I don't think he knows him very well. I know him quite well because he's a collegiate player. He goes to Texas Tech. He's, I believe, right now their top seed. So he's board one for one of our collegiate rivals. I know him quite well. He's a good player. Very decent player. Fabi never played against him, and he doesn't really meet him very often in competition. So there's no reason for him to know him very well. Or know his tendencies or anything of that nature. Like that's not happening. That is not happening, guys. Is UT Dallas still a chess powerhouse? They're pretty decent. I wouldn't call them necessarily a powerhouse right now. I would say most likely the strength is quite concentrated in the state of Missouri right now. I would say the top three is us, SLU, St. Louis University, and Webster. Well, we're the national champions right now, so I would say we're probably the top team in 2024. It's very difficult to not put us on top in 2024. Now, if we manage to continue and turn it into a dynasty, as I like to say, I want to make it a dynasty. Many years of Mizzou dominance. But yeah, in 2024, I would say, we won the Pan Ams, we won the Final Four, we just won the Collegiate Chess League. I don't know if you guys were watching that, but we've basically won everything this year. Has chess got into the NIL madness yet? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. If you have any ideas of how that could be mapped out for collegiate chess, I would be very interested to hear your opinions. Because I am trying to find a path towards NIL sponsorships for chess. I think it's an opportunity. We just don't simply have the infrastructure right now. Sign Magnus to your team. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Any other super GMs playing in St. Louis Masters other than Fabi? I don't think there are, no. Yeah, this was a close Sicilian. Depending on what Super Grandmasters you mean. Everybody over 2,700. Robson, I would probably not consider him a Super Grandmaster. Enroll Fabi. You know, he actually offered. He wants too much money. We don't have the time. We don't have the resources to get Fabi at the university. Sign Hans. You know, I think I did try to recruit Hans a long time ago when he was about, I don't know, he was just making his way through the rankings. I think he was 2550 when I tried to recruit him. Hans is not playing the St. Louis Masters. Hans is still banned by the St. Louis Chess Club for the duration of 2024. Like I told you guys, F4. Yeah, F4 came in the position. I expected this move. It's just the most natural move. It's just the most natural move. Why am I not Fabi's coach? I am Fabi's coach occasionally. But I wouldn't call... I mean, I'm his second. Like I sometimes... He has a few coaches. But my commitment is not... Like, whenever, let's say, we go to the Grand Chess Tour, right? Generally, he's going to be playing, and I'm going to be doing commentary. And then he's going to generally pick somebody else to help him during tournament. Semantics. I mean, it is a coach. It is a coach that is going to help you for the duration of a particular event. Like, for example, during the US Championship, I'm going to give you a clear example. Like, Fabi was playing, I was doing commentary, and Grigory Oparin, who has been one of his main seconds since last year, I think, he was playing as well. So then there were no other coaches, but one of his other seconds, which is Misha Antipov, who is also a student at Mizzou. So he chose Misha Antipov to help him during the US Championship. But it's a helper, right? It's a second. I wouldn't call it necessarily like a coach. Like, it's not a coach with which he works on a regular basis. Hans will be back. I do think that Hans will be back. Hans will most likely be playing a lot of tournaments at the St. Louis Chess Club. This is just a prediction. I do not know for a fact, but I do believe Hans is going to be playing a bunch of tournaments at the St. Louis Chess Club come 2025. The thing is, he was very well behaved during the US Championships. Obviously, there's been, a lot of drama, a lot of controversy with Hans. People, even nowadays, they accuse me of hating Hans. Like, there's a lot of people on the internet who believe that I hate Hans. And to be honest, I don't even know how we got to that position. But that's not the point. Point is that during the US Championship, there's a lot of misconstrued information out there. Let's just put it that way about Hans. But Hans right now is still banned for the duration of 2024. But I do believe, based on his behavior at the US Championship, that he's most likely going to get some invitations in 2025. Yeah, that was the US Championship popcorn. But that was not the St. Louis Invitational event. That was a qualification national event, the US Championship. So that was under the umbrella of US Chess. St. Louis just provided the location, provided the prize fund, provided the organization. They bid for the organization of it, which they do pretty much every year since the inception of the club. So even if they wanted, which I don't think it was the case, but St. Louis couldn't have said you cannot play because this was a US Chess sanctioned event. Yeah, that's basically the big competition right now in terms of circuit points. By the way, knight takes d5 after f4 came very swiftly. Knight takes d5 and knight e7. So as we sort of predicted, it seems like Matviishen also understands the fact that he really needs to focus on displacing the knight from d5, displacing Fabi's knight from d5. If he doesn't do that, if he doesn't achieve that, then he's going to be in big trouble. So right now, big question arises. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because you have a couple of options. Knight takes c7 is one of them. Knight e3 is another one. Knight c3 is another one. And what you probably don't want to do is take on e5. Like, that's not something that you want to do. We already seen this. Knight takes d5 Very important intermezzo move so that there's no bishop to g5. And now bishop takes c5 with a very healthy pawn structure. And now everything makes sense for black because h4 with the bishop very nicely placed on e5 also makes a lot of sense. You're getting your eyes set on the h2 square. So it might be problematic right now for white. In fact, it's not a good position. You have to go c3, d4 very quickly, but it's black who has the advantage. So what you have to do is retreat. It's a bit of an annoying situation because you don't generally want to retreat. Knight to e3, knight to c3 are the top moves. Let's go knight e3. And the big question after knight e3 is, what if I continue with castle, right? And I think the answer is, finally with the knight on e3, I can go f5. If I manage to get this structure past the midpoint like this, especially with the pawn on h5, this is really good news for white. Very good news for white. So after knight to e3, keeping in perspective the fact that you do as white want to go f5, it's becoming kind of a difficult situation for black to solve, a difficult puzzle for black to solve. How do you stop me from going f5? Well, one way would be for you to go f5 yourself, but this is kind of crazy talk. Wait, whoa. Okay, we just had a move. He took on e7 and then played f5. So Fabi was like, look, you know what? I'm going to be focused, laser focused on playing the move f5, passing the midpoint, changing pawn structure. But now the thing is, black has not committed to short castle. And black does not have to worry about the knight jumping to b6 anymore. So now I think bishop to d7 followed by long castle makes a lot of sense. If you go short castle, which might be quite tempting as well, the thing is you are falling under a tremendous attack. After queen f3, you have to go f6, otherwise f6 is coming for white. So it's a pretty bad position. And once you go f6 with a pawn on h5, with a pawn on h7, it would be a completely different story. But with a pawn on h5, you're already overextended. Is this the Charlotte Chess Center that Dania coaches at? Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. So, still very good for white. But after bishop to d7, without the knights on the board, I feel black is going to go for a long castle. And now Fabi, I think, is going to combine the ideas that we've been discussing. And this was one of the ideas that one of you in the chat, I don't remember exactly who, proposed. And that was to go for b4. No, Dania has been commentating occasionally. I think he commentates on their channel on occasion. Like, for example, bishop to e3. And now if you go long castle, now I can go maybe something like b4. Just go for this type of crazy ideas. Hello, guys. How many circuit points from this tournament? I think somebody said something along the lines of 17 if he wins it outright, but he needs to win it outright. And outright meaning that he's not going to tie. Like, there's not going to be the same score. And he's half a point behind with 2 rounds to go. That's not going to be easy. Him winning it outright at this point is not going to be easy. Okay, so after this f5, I have a feeling Victor is probably going to try to figure things out. So I would leave them alone for a second. I'm going to put our board number, actually, officially, should be board number 1. And this is the game between Alexander Donchenko and Nico Theodorou. And this is not great news for Fabi. and Fabi fans. Wait, what? This must be some sort of a... This must be some sort of a transmission error. Wait. What? No, this is a transmission error. Because you can just simply take on a3. What's happening here? What is happening here? Let me make this a little bit bigger. Where is the queen, guys? Is the queen on f8? Is the black queen on f8? Oh, we got a bunch more moves. Knight to b5, rook to d8. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it was actually white to move. It was actually white to move, and finally we got clarification. So rook to c1, this was a position in which white was to move. He played the move knight to b5 and rook to d8. That's why you see rook c8, which is nonsense. And then rook to d8. Yeah, the digit was messed up. So this is the position right now. This is the position right now. Knight b5, rook to d8. Very, very tight position. I would say very, very even position. So I think, to be honest, I believe black is quite happy with the outcome of the opening. Actually, black is definitely happy with the outcome of the opening. Nico is definitely happy with the outcome of the opening. Now, at the same time, you're thinking about it this way. If Fabi wins, and we really hope, and he knows that he needs to win. If Fabi wins, and Nico makes a draw, then we're going to go into the final round with an even score. 7 out of 8 for both of these players. So that's the ideal scenario. Because then you have, sure, you have the black pieces, but Nico, you know, at least you've finally caught up with the leader, right? And this is something that you definitely want if you're in Fabi's shoes right now. Now, let's go back. Let's go back to Fabi's game because we've got a move. We've got a move. And that is bishop to f6. That's probably a good move. That's probably a good move. Again, you're not committing to castle. The funny part is that, you know what I think he wants to do? I think he wants to go king f8, king g7. Actually, king f8 doesn't make any sense. Now that I think about it, king f8 just loses because I take bishop g5. So I'm opening up the f file and then pinning you down. No, king f8, king g7 is not really an idea. Can Fabi and Nico play again? No. 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 They've already played once. This is an open tournament. You cannot play the same player twice. They can play if there's going to be a tie breaks. I think there is a tie breaks set up in case they end up on the same points. But before that, they cannot play, no. Who do I think is going to be the next candidates? I mean, that's always a very tricky question. Fabi, obviously, I think he has a very good shot. Fabi will probably play Greg, yes. Or Donchenko. I mean, it very much depends on what's happening, right? Will I commentate when Fabi plays Status Steel Masters? If we have camera feed, yes, but most likely we won't have camera feed. I mean, I don't know those people, and I don't think they would give me camera feeds. So no. I don't know. Also, January is probably a month where I will try to, after I finish the Pan Ams, I'm probably going to take a small break before the next semester starts. Nico probably Ishikan. That would be an interesting one. That would be an interesting one. Well, the number 2 player will be in the candidates. Most likely. Because there is a rating spot. But the rating spot is going to be given based on the last 6 months before the candidates begins. Or I think sometimes at the beginning of the year, maybe January. Maybe on the January list, but January 2026. So, yeah, it's... What am I studying? What do you mean? What do you mean, what am I studying? But it doesn't matter. This is going to be in 2026. Who knows? Maybe Fabi is going to continue being number 2, but it's extremely close. It's extremely close. No. I'm leading the chess program at the university. At the University of Missouri. So I'm way past my studying days. But I do have a lot of students at the university, yes. Yeah, I don't know exactly what Fabi needs to do right now. My guess is that at this moment, once you kind of solidified with f5, he's probably going to go for b4. He's probably going to try to go for b4. So yes, bishop to d3 or bishop to e3 makes a lot of sense. Mizzou, yeah, it's a beautiful campus. When will the circuit end? Well, the first circuit ends this year, and that's why Fabi is playing 2 open tournaments back to back, because he wants to qualify this year. But there's going to be another circuit. There's going to be another circuit next year. So there's 2 spots for the FIDE circuit. FIDE circuit 2024, FIDE circuit 2025. So he's trying to qualify. He's trying to get that first qualifying spot for the candidates based on this year's FIDE circuit. This kid is giving me real Hans vibes. Start the procedure. That's new. Yeah. 2 FIDE circuits for sure. Yeah, that's I think that's pretty new. What do you mean? Why Begim is not playing US Masters? Have you checked the list for the US Masters? So c4, by the way. Let's keep going with this one. I mean, she's literally playing the US Masters. And you're asking me why she's not playing the US Masters. She's on the list. She's on the list. Oh. Do people ask questions before they do like a basic search? Especially this type of pointed questions. Like, oh, that particular player, why is she not playing in this tournament? When she actually, in fact, is playing in the tournament. Qualifying to the candidates is never easy. Qualifying to the candidates is never easy. He's miscalculating a lot? I don't know. I mean, there's not as much to calculate right now, actually. I like this move c4. I do like this move c4. A lot of people don't like this move c4, and the engine definitely does not like this move c4, but I do understand it. You're basically just trying to set up for b4. That's it. You're burning the bridges. You're saying that there's not going to be any other break. I'm not worried about c3 followed by d4. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in playing c3 followed by b4. None of that. I want to go c4, bishop e3. I'm waiting for you to castle long, and then I'm going to go b4. Why isn't Robert Fischer playing the US Masters this year? Now that is a good question. Now that is the type of question that I'm expecting from you guys. That is the type of question that I'm expecting from you guys. Hello, Charlie Penguin. Charlie Penguin. That's a funny name. I'm not gonna lie. That is a funny name. Is Morphy playing? I think so. I think Morphy might be in this. I think Morphy might be in this one, guys. What is your view about Game 6 World Chess Championship today? Is Hans banned from this? No, Hans is not banned. No, Hans is not banned from the US Masters. I'm pretty sure if he wanted to play, he could have played. But I'm pretty sure Hans is very much of the opinion that right now, since he's already 27-30, which makes a lot of sense, by the way, he's already surpassed the point where he needs to play open tournaments. I think this is the way he looks at it. I don't think we're going to see him in open tournaments for a while if he manages to get the invitations that he wants at his level. And for good reason. Is GM Chutia playing? Yeah, I think so. Oparin is winning. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. Holy smokes. Let's see if I can find Oparin. Let's see if I can find Oparin, guys. There's Oparin. We have the Oparin cam as well. We have all the cams. We have all the cams. All right, let's see what happened in Oparin. Oh, holy smokes. How did this happen? All right, we left it off somewhere around here, right? Knight f3, queen b6, bishop b2, take, bishop b5. We were discussing about this position. Still not very happy with the way black is conducting business, but this is very typical. Typical for the French. Castle, take. You're trying to exchange light square bishop. You're trying to exchange the queens. If you manage to do so, then black probably solves all his issues. So white is like, no, I'm not interested in exchanging the queens. Queen d1. Nice move. I like this retreat. You're kind of out of the way from everything, and you're also keeping the option open once you move the knight to go to g4. So this is the perfect square for the queen. You're also looking at potentially queen to b3. Knight to d7, knight c3, bishop to b4, knight e2. He's like, no, I'm not giving you this knight. In fact, your bishop is going to be quite badly placed, and you're lacking squares. For example, if you go knight to e7, then you can understand a3 is coming. This bishop has to get off this diagonal, and you might be in trouble. So he played rook c8, knight f4, looking at knight h4, knight h5. I'm starting to get creative. I'm starting to enjoy my position. There's a big attack brewing. Knight e7, knight h5, g6, huge mistake. He was supposed to castle. Did he just miss knight g7, or did he just like not realize how powerful this move is? Bishop h6, king g8, a3. The bishop has to move. Bishop a5, knight g5, and good luck stopping me from getting a decisive advantage. With queen a4, with queen f3, I think some knight takes f7 is coming as well. I'm trying, okay, maybe queen g4 and knight h5 actually. Okay, this is really bad. So you're basically stuck. You're basically stuck. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, this is really bad news. You've basically misread white's intentions when you play this move g6. It's somewhat of a, the first thing that I think about when I see this move is this an early morning round? And the answer is yes. It is an early morning round. It's one of those moves, one of those sleepy moves. You're making it when you're feeling like there's no danger in the position. And then you realize that I can actually, I can squeeze in my knight on g7. I can introduce my pony on g7. And guess what? It doesn't really matter that I'm not getting it out anytime soon. I'm going to keep this knight here on g7, and you're going to be completely stuck. Your rook on h8, your king on g8, completely stuck, and I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to make kind of use of both ideas of putting pressure on f7 with queen f3, which is going to force you to defend somehow, probably with knight f5, but then I can just take it back on f5, and rook to c1. So Grigory is completely winning. Grigory is completely winning. Now, you guys are telling me Fabi has just blundered. Let's take a look at what just happened in that one. Going back to Fabi. I'm being told, big blunder. The big blunder meaning that he went from 0-0 to minus 0.1. Is that the big blunder? You guys are scaring me. Okay, now it's 0-0. So where's the blunder, guys? Where's the blunder? No, he didn't blunder. He did not blunder. I want to believe the chat, guys. I do want to believe the chat. I do want to believe the chat. I like the chat. I like to believe the chat. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt as an occasional chatter myself as well. Have I played any tournaments in Illinois? Yeah, I played plenty. I think I even played the Chicago Open at one point, which is not in Chicago, but it's in... Yeah, no, Oparin for sure. Oparin for sure is winning that one. He's actually going to win it probably very quickly. What are Oparin's short-term ambitions as a player? I mean, I've been trying to get him over 2,700 since he came to the university. So I would say 2,700. He's been dropping a little bit. Since he graduated in May, he's been dropping a little bit. But now he's somewhat back within our training program. So I'm expecting him to continue getting some good wins and maybe getting back on track. A5. I'm not really sure I like what happened with this C4 followed by rook to B1. I'm really not really sure that I like it, because to be honest, how do you break through right now? How exactly do you break through? No, rook to B1 makes a lot of sense because you do want to go B4. But again, after A5, which is a very natural move, how do you break through? The thing is, when you play A3 and you're trying to go B4, now I immediately go A4. And then let's say you go B4 and we exchange like this, and you're saying that, oh, I have absolutely crushing pressure on the B file. But that's not the case, because I just simply go bishop C6. And I defend the pawn on B7, I'm not castling, and basically the position is more or less just completely locked. And if I even go G5, give me one more move, let me go G5, let me go H4 after that, I'm just going to shut down the position on both sides. I'm going to be a bit passive as black, but that's about it. Everything else will get shut down. So I'm not a big fan of everything that has been happening in the last few rounds. I want to see a bit more urgency, and I'm not sure that exists right now after A5. I don't know. I guess he wants to go B3. This is the way that I think he's going to build up this attack. So he's going to go B3, and then he's going to go A3, and then he's going to go B4. So you want to play B3 first before you go A3 so that A4 doesn't have the same oomph. That's the idea. Black definitely doesn't want B5. No way. You think black will go B5? No. That doesn't feel right. Maybe it is. Maybe it works. It just does not feel right. It doesn't feel right to me. We will all be in the Matrix by then. Very likely. Very likely. Maybe we already are in the Matrix. Lots of people tend to believe that we already are in the Matrix. Yeah, H4 is definitely a move. And at some point you probably want to play it. At some point you probably want to play H4. So yeah, a5 is a pretty good move. a5 is a pretty good move. No, I work for the university. The players get scholarships to attend the university, to come and study at our university. They get full ride scholarships, and we have some very, very strong players. So no, I'm employed by the university, if you want. Is there a story to your and Fabi's friendship? Nothing out of the ordinary. Just became friends throughout the years. Oh. There's a cat sighting. Maybe you guys will get to see a cat today. How much scholarship can Fabi get if he wishes to study at Mizzou? Look, we'll give him a full ride. I'll tell you right now, I'm offering Fabiano a full ride to the University of Missouri if he wants to come study. Were you friends as juniors? No, I would say I met him when I was like 2014, I think we met somewhat officially for the first time. So I was not a junior already at that point. That was 10 years ago. Definitely not a junior anymore. I just felt like there's opportunities as a chess podcast. I felt that we don't have too many chess podcasts. There was the Perpetual Chess podcast, which was the OG podcast, but they didn't have a presence on YouTube. They were mostly like an audio podcast, like a typical podcast, right? Only audio. They had some video occasionally, or I think they were posting on YouTube, but they weren't like really focused on YouTube. So I felt like there's an opportunity for a modern podcast which has video, has all those components, and I talked to Fabi at some point. I think it was like May or something like that of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. During, I believe, Bucharest. I think we were in Bucharest. We were having like breakfast or something along those lines, and I asked him if he wants to do a podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, why not?" He was invited, yes, but he didn't show up. He did not come. He did not come. But there's a very specific reason why he didn't come. No. No, Mizzou is number one. But good try. Thank you, Dark Magician. Welcome to the C Squad. Were you sad that he didn't come? Not really. Because he had a very good reason. He was still playing the World Cup. My wedding happened during the semifinals of the World Cup. So he was already playing. He was still playing the World Cup. And he qualified for candidates. That was the first time. That was the first way that he qualified for the candidates. So it was quite important, I would say. I could have been like, hey, you know, the candidates or my wedding. And give him a hard time about it. But I didn't. Well, I think I think he qualified through a variety of methods. I think he won the FIDE circuit of 2023 as well. Pretty sure he qualified via that. And I think he qualified via the rating spot also. Boom! Dark Magician with the $5. Thank you very much, Dark Magician. Appreciate that. Appreciate the gift. Just as Matviishen just made a huge decision. He played the move G5. Dark Magician with the $5. Let's see who got it. Let's see who got it, guys. All right. Jürgen Berg, Thomas Wiley, August Zanzak. That's a fake name. Anas Edacheri. That must be a fake name too. And Mariska Mehta. Nice. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome to the C Squad. The C Squad is getting big, baby. Big. New members. Yeah. We're getting some members. We're getting some membership going on. Why do you prefer YouTube compared to Twitch or Kick? We're mostly YouTube focused, but also we don't stream that much. Like we don't do as much live streaming. What happened to Duda? He doesn't play any tournaments. Well, he's kind of in that limbo spot, right? Around 27, what, 20? 27, 30. He doesn't want to play opens. He definitely does not want to play opens. Is Fabi part of the university? Of course not. Of course not. Fit picks. Is that what you guys want? Yeah, G5 and B3. These were the last couple of moves. Now, G5, I think H3 was probably the most precise move in the position. H3, basically H3 is meant to completely kill any sort of counterplay black will have on the king side. So basically saying that if you go G4, I go H4, I close shop. If you go H4, I go G4, I close shop. And what I want to do is focus on the other side. I'm going to be focused on A3, B4, B3, A3, B4. But he doesn't play H3. He plays B3 first. And I was telling you guys that this is going to be his idea. B3, A3, and B4. We've done some reaction videos before. I mean, we're open to a lot of types of content. Would we do a lie detector? Yeah, why not? No, Fabi has seconds. Fabi has a few seconds, has a team of seconds, and he generally employs one of them whenever he participates in a big event. Yeah, Fabi is playing in Norway. I think it was announced already. I think the lineup has been announced. All right, so B3 right now, Matviishen is trying to find a way to either get his own attack going on the other side or get ready to meet A3 and B4. At least Fabi right now has a clear plan. He knows exactly what he's going to do for the next few moves, and that is once again A3 and B4. I'm going to leave Fabi for a second because I am interested to see what Grigory is doing, if he has finished the job or not. And this is why I don't play the French, because I'm afraid I'm going to get into this type of absolutely horrendous positions. Look at this. Look at all these poor pieces. The only one past the second rank, Black's second rank, the 7th rank in this case, is the queen. This is such a sad position. This is such a sad position. Queen to g4, you have no moves. I guess you can go knight f5. But knight f5 is such a sad move. Like knight f5 I take, you take back, I go queen f3 or queen f4, or it doesn't really matter where I put my queen. Basically, you're going to lose at least an exchange. And to be honest, you're begging me to take your rook. You're saying, come on, please take my rook so that my king can get free. I mean, look at this rook on h8. This is the saddest. This is the saddest rook I've ever seen. And I've seen some really sad rooks before. Yeah, this is just a very sad position. When your most active piece is a queen on a6 that doesn't attack anything, you know something went wrong. I don't know, guys. I don't know who's gonna play Norway. I actually don't have that information off the top of my head. But the thing is that you can find out. It's on their website. It's on their Twitter, I think. I mean, I'm disgusted with this position. I'm happy for Grigory, though. Grigory doesn't need this victory. Grigory does need this victory. Okay, let's see. Who else should we... All right, I want to check with my boy Misha. Misha is another student at Mizzou. He's actually our number 2 rated player right now on the team, behind Ariantari. And he's playing against Mark Hyman, who is half a point ahead compared to him. Misha is on 5 out of 7, I think. Mark Hyman is on 5.5, if I'm not mistaken. So he needs to win. And his position is not looking like he's going to win. He's a pawn down, and I think the best thing he can get is his pawn back with knight d4. Knight d4, queen d7, take on e6, take. Bishop d6 draw. This is basically a draw. Yes, Tari is a freshman. No, Antipov is Misha. Mishra is Abhimanyu Mishra. Misha as in Mihail. This is This is Mihail / Misha. Anyway, Grigory seems to be doing quite well, completely winning. Antipov, probably a draw. Let's go back to Fabi. Let's see what our friend Nico Theodorou is doing. Draw. Very equal position. In fact, f5 perhaps would have given him a slight advantage. But he decided against it. He played rook to c8. He's obviously saying that, look, I'm looking to make a draw. Take, yeah. Most likely not as much is going to happen in this game. There might be a slight pressure coming from the white side for the simple fact that, look, I have a nice bishop on b2. Good activity on that diagonal. Maybe if I manage to couple it with a queen on d4, a centralized queen on d4, maybe that will create some problems for black. At the same time, it does look very, very, very equal, very balanced position. All right, so this one seems to be going towards a draw. And then we're left with our marquee matchup, which is Fabi playing against Matviishen. No. Hans is not playing. Hans is not playing, guys. Hans is not playing. Hans is not playing. Will Fabi give Grigory a bonus to not win the tournament? No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. I'm starting to like Fabi's situation because it's very easy for Fabi to come up with a plan. Actually, the plan is already in motion. The plan is already known. It's in motion. He wants to go a3, b4. There's no other plan. Now, again, the big question for black, and this is something that he's going to have to find the path forward, is what do you do with the king? At some point, you will need to make a decision. Hello, Adrian. At some point, you do need to make a decision. And Matviishen is starting to feel a little bit of pressure, I have a feeling. Yep, that's right. The time edge is sweet. That time edge is definitely something that that Fabi is enjoying. But one thing that he's been doing is he gets the time edge, but then he loses it. As long as he manages to hold on to the time edge, I think he's going to have a good shot at outplaying his opponent. King f8, king g7 makes a lot of sense. Yes. Yes. If I were in Matviishen's shoes, I would probably play king f8. The thing is, after king f8, what I will do as white, I will go h3 once again. Once you committed to this path, right? You go king g7, now I go bishop f3. And I'm trying to provoke a reaction. You are? Okay. All right, Dark Magician. Send me an email on our business email, or you can send me an email at christian@c2pod.com. christian@c2pod.com. Christian, do you think 5 out of 8 is an IM norm? Asking for a friend here. I have no idea. I have no idea. It very much depends on, I mean, normally in this competition, 5 out of 8 should probably be very, very close to that. But again, it very much requires more information than that. But this is the way I would play if he goes for king f8, king g7. Fabi just left. How many hours do you work on the podcast usually in a week? I mean, it very much depends. It very much depends if we're having like a very busy week or not, right? I would say maybe 10 hours, 10, 20 hours, something like that. 10, 20 hours. But it's not like super, it's not like, oh, I'm going to put my working shoes on and now this is what I'm going to do. It's splattered. Like whenever I have time, I'm going to do that. Do I know I am Salutary Makichat? I actually don't. You got me. I don't. I have no idea who Salutary Makichat is. You officially locked me with this question. Hello, Lila. Welcome back. I do very much consider requests for private coaching on a very selective basis. Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Okay, so it was like a These Nuts type of joke, but this is like the These Nuts Indian edition. Is that it? Am I understanding it correctly? Which other options do I think Victor is thinking about? Yeah, that's very difficult. I mean, again, to be honest, it's one of those situations in which you understand that every single decision you make right now has its consequences. And sometimes those consequences are not very pleasant to deal with. If you go castle long, you're dead after a3, b4. If you go castle short, first of all, you cannot do that because you're losing the pawn on h5. So you cannot remove the rook from the h file. If you go king f8, king g7, then you're covering up the g file, and I will provoke you to move one of your pawns, either the g pawn or the h pawn, which is going to mean that there's going to be some problems on the king side. I mean, all the ways in which you can qualify. Rating, Grand Swiss, the next year's FIDE circuit, the World Cup. All of these ways in which you can qualify. So yeah. That's probably how he would like to qualify. Yes. There's a lot of ways. You can stay with the king in the center. Yeah, that's an option as well. But at some point, you really should be focused on making the connection between the rooks, right? Finally, we have a move. Oh, it's b5. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's a big decision right there. And I think it's a good decision. I do think it's a good decision. I do think it's a good decision. b5 and now a3. Good move by Fabi. He's looking at b4 and played fast. So Fabi already is starting to feel like, okay, I have a clear plan. I know exactly what I want to do. This is how I'm going to do it. Now, once you play the move a3, there is one big question that you need to ask. What happens if I just simply go b4? How bad is this? And I do think that Matviishen right now, realizing the fact that b4 is coming, there's going to be a break in the center, 2 more rounds. And once you play b5, you kind of want to play b4. You really want to play b4. Especially if you don't have a lot of time left on clock. You want to play b4, you want to close shop. And if you can, try to close shop on this. Obviously not like this, but this is the dream. This is the dream for black because now everything is closed. There's only the A file that you're going to be able to open, and that's not going to do much. That's it. This is a draw. This is an easy draw. D4 is never going to happen. Once you take, I take back, and that's it. So Fabi knows that. He does not want to see that. So after b4, let's say rook a1. Castle is not possible still. But what if I just simply go bishop to c6, right? Defend. You're threatening to take on b4, and then obviously if the rook on a8 is not protected, you're going to lose. So this seems like a very natural way to do things. And now maybe something like h3, saying that, hey, your rook is still tied to the defense of this pawn on h5, so you still cannot really move your king. But what if I go king d7? Like, how bad is this? I think king d7 just, I mean, I don't know. I really don't see it. Whoa! Holy smokes. We're getting that 1K viewers energy back. We're getting that 1K viewers energy. That's another 10. That's another 10 members by Adrian Vesa. Thank you very much, Adrian. Appreciate it. Let's see. We got to move. We got to move. He did play b4, as I anticipated. And immediately Fabi responded with rook to a1. Immediately responded with the rook a1. And bishop c6, guys, we're kind of we're predicting correctly. We're predicting correctly what's going to be played. Welcome to all the new members. Let's see if I can. Ayo, who this? Got one. Nilfer, Parv, Ryan Jordan, ASDK, blah, 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 blah. Big Rick, Deep Fried Scream, Dhruv Jain, and a bunch of others. And SP was gifted one as well. Wow, 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 wow. How is Fabi going to break through? That is, once again, a very, very serious question, very important question. And we don't really have the answer yet. But let me just take this moment to thank all the new members and all the donos that you guys have been supporting the stream with. I appreciate that. It's obviously a great incentive for us to stay focused on the channel and make sure we provide the best type of content that we can. Bishop to e3. Now, is this a soft move, is my question. No, Donchenko. Nico definitely did not win. Nico is slightly worse, but not by much. Maybe now it's getting a little bit unpleasant. Now, he played bishop e3, Fabi that is. And now, I have a feeling g4 just closes everything on this diagonal, on this side as well. I mean, look, Fabi is trying to play fast. Fabi's trying to play fast. So h3, I don't think this works very well. But it is something that I'm sure Matviishen is concerned about. Like whenever you go g4, you kind of commit to something. I'm not giving you a shout out. I'm not giving your NGO a shout out. d4, absolutely not. No, 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 no. No, this would be very bad news. This would be very bad news. He does have to create an imbalance. That is correct. His moves are not that easy. No, no, no. Because there's some decisions that he needs to make. There are some decisions that he needs to make. Yeah, that's the last time. That's the last time before you get a timeout. So stop it. Stop. Okay. 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 Maybe we can get a nice little timeout for our good friend here, Destiny's Child. Let's give him a nice timeout. Yes, he did win yesterday's game. He did win yesterday's game. You're welcome. Should have played Qatar Masters instead. Who? No, it's like an athletic team. We don't offer credit. We do not offer credit. Is Theodorou underrated? I guess he is. I mean, he's gaining a lot of rating points. Look, what Fabi is doing is good from one perspective, and that perspective is that he's playing fast. All right, I just want to see for a second. I do want to see what Grisha is doing, what Grigory is doing. Because I have a feeling this one must be over very soon. Okay. Oof. Oh, this is just over. This is over. Nice. Look at this. f6, rook takes d8. I think we're seeing a resignation, guys. You take with the rook on d8, I take on f6, you're getting checkmated on f7. If you take on g5, you're getting checkmated on g7. There's actually no way to defend against mate unless you want to go rook to d7, when I can just simply take on e6. I can go rook to c1. I can do so many things. This is over. This is over. We're going to see rook takes d8. And queen takes f6. This is going to be extremely fast. Once Grisha sees what he needs to do, and obviously he sees that right now, this is over. This is over. And this is a huge, huge result for Grigory Oparin, who moves on to 6.5 out of 8. 6.5 out of 8. That's going to place him most likely in second or third position. Okay, thank you, I Am Pain. Thank you for the nice little ban. Do not push me. Do not push me around. And that's a win. Absolutely disgusted with his position. Daniel Fernandez decides to throw in the towel. Doesn't even, storms out after queen takes f6. That's it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. He's done. He's out. He's out. All right, here we go. So Grisha wins his game. Very convincing victory by him. Disastrous. Absolutely, for Daniel. He's not happy. And he moves on to 6.5 out of 8. Great tournament so far for Grisha Oparin. In regards to Fabi, g4 was indeed played. And queen to d2 immediately. This is something that Fabi is doing right now. He's keeping up the pace. He's maintaining a very solid pace. Queen to d2. And right now, the pressure continues to be on. But what he can do, what Matviishen can do right now, is to go king to d7. King to d7. And at some point he needs to do, again, it's all about that king, right? Do you want to castle? Probably not. If you castle, the thing is the rook does not defend this side anymore, and I can go h3. I can start poking at you. He did play a move. He played king to d7. He just played king to d7. The move number does not really matter right now. The move number does not really matter because they don't get additional time after 40 moves. So it doesn't matter. They're not going for the 40th move, second time control. There's no second time control. You have to play your best moves right now. I think he lost a few, and he lost them slow. Like, he didn't have any like huge bad events, but he had a few subpar, let's say, performances. But he's getting back. He will get back. For a second, let's take a look at what's happening with Donchenko versus Nico. Nico is starting to be in some danger. This is a bit dangerous for Theodorou right now. All right, let's see how this happened. Bishop to f6, already a bad move. Allows e4, take, bishop takes b2, but now I can take on d5. So the idea being, at this point, if you try to go knight to b4, queen to d2, and you take on b2, I think I can take on d7. I think this is his idea. Your bishop is still under attack. You still have to lose some tempis to go back. And then I can just simply start collecting the pawns. So that's why he's in somewhat dangerous territory right now. He took on b5, take on b5, take on b2, take on d5. Bishop to d4. And now I can just simply go queen to e4. This attacks the bishop and the pawn on e6 at the same time. You're more or less forced to go e5. If you don't go e5, you just lose 10 pieces. And now maybe I can go d6. No, Nico is not losing. Nico is definitely not losing right now. He's a little bit worse, though. He's a little bit worse. And also, keep an eye on the clock. Donchenko with 26 minutes against 10 minutes. That's a pretty significant advantage. Fabi needs 2 open tournaments. 2 open tournaments. It just doesn't happen. Like, he cannot play Qatar Masters and the US Masters because there's just almost no time in between, and the traveling would be absolutely murderous for Fabi. Like, it would just be really, really bad. So Qatar Masters was kind of out of question. He had to play something else. Okay. This is good news. Donchenko is putting some pressure. Let's go back to Fabi. Oh, we're having some new moves. All right, take a look at this. King d7, rook a2. He's trying to double up on the a file. King c7. He's trying to get closer to his rook. King b7, also controlling all these entry squares. So for example, right now you take, you don't have rook a7 or rook a6. You don't have any entry squares because the king is protecting all of those squares. So Fabi says, okay, I've attacked you on this side as much as I could. Now it's time for me to try to get on the other side. So he goes for h3. And now Matviishen is down to his last 6 minutes, 6 minutes 40. Okay, this is starting to become quite unpleasant. Because what do you do? If you take on h3, first of all, I can also go bishop to f3. I don't have to take on h3. I can go bishop f3. Stop eating my mouse. He's eating my mouse. Say hi. Say hi to the chat. Say hi to the chat. He's purring. Can you guys hear him? Okay, go. Time for you to go. He left. He was eating my mouse. So it is what it is. Had to get kicked away. h3. All right, what do we have? Do we have some more moves? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. G takes h3, and I'm a bit surprised that... Okay, I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't take time to at least think about bishop f3. Because bishop f3 is a move that you sort of make almost intuitively because you want to go king h2, king takes h3. So you're getting that pawn back no matter what. It's not like he's going to be able to maintain that pawn. And for example, if he goes h4, you go g4. Now g5 is a big threat. So I don't know. I kind of like bishop f3 much more than bishop takes h3. Rook to b8. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go bishop to g2, bishop f3. It's all about putting pressure on this pawn. This is the pawn that I'm going for. Either to force you to go h4, in which case I'm going to go g4 and then I'm going to start threatening g5, or just put enough pressure. Bishop g2, bishop f3, king g2, followed by rook h1. I'm the one dictating as white when everything is going to open up, because I can always take on b4, right? So, and Matviishen is starting to feel the pressure of the clock. You can already sense it. You can already sense it. He's starting to feel the pressure of the clock. No, okay, look, bishop takes h3 is not like a really bad move or anything. It really isn't. It really isn't. You're not losing as much momentum, especially after rook to b8. Because now you can, once again, redirect the bishop, get it back to f3. That's the best square for the bishop. And then continue putting pressure, mounting the pressure on the pawn on h5. What? What do you mean Fabi has won? Are we having time travelers again? Are we having time travelers again? I think we might be having time travelers. You can also go 8 takes b4, yes. You can also go 8 takes b4. 8 takes b4, 8 takes b4, but I guess you can... This is an option. This is definitely an option. Just exchange everything and now focus on the h5 pawn. And it might actually work. It might just simply be winning. Mathematically winning. Like you might just be able to pick up the pawn on h5. No defense. If you go, again, if you go h4, g4, problematic because you cannot stop g5. g5 is coming. King h2, king h3. So you do have this option, but you don't have to hurry. So I do like what he played, bishop to g2. We were kind of discussing this one. Bishop to g2. In the meantime, I'm going to let you with this beautiful Fabi shot. I'm going to leave the bar so you can still see the bar moving in and out. And I'm going to be taking a 1 minute, 2 minutes break. And I'll be right back. I'm going to leave you with some nice lo-fi sounds. See you in just a second. I'm back. Did you guys miss me? Here we go. What's happening, guys? All right, so a couple of things have happened since I left. Bishop to g2, which we sort of expected. And the idea is very simple. You need to target the pawn on h5. This is the only weakness in black's position right now. You do have the option of juggling with these two threats. One of them is focusing on the pawn on h5. The other one is focusing on opening up the a file and exchanging down the a file. So king c7 was played. My question is, how exactly do you defend this pawn on h5 after bishop f3? Like, what's the point? What's the idea behind this king c7? Like, I get it, maybe rook to g8, but then I just go king h2 or king f2. I think bishop f3 is on board, yes. Bishop f3 is on the board, rook to g8 immediately played. And responded with king f2. And by the way, this is a really cool move, because I think what his plan was, if you go king to h2, what I think he wanted was to go bishop h4. Did you guys see this move? Did you guys see this move? Bishop h4. If you take, obviously, queen takes h4, and that's a nice checkmate. And that's exactly the reason why Fabi was like, okay, I see your tricks. I see what you're trying to do. I'm not falling for that. Look, I'm 2800. I'm not falling for that type of stuff. So he went king f2. If you go bishop h4, now I just simply take it. I take it, I go king e2, I hide behind my bishops. I have some nice bishops to hide behind, and that's pretty much it. So now you're in trouble. You have 2 minutes. I'm picking up the pawn on h5. Fabi just left the board. Fabi's like, okay, just think about it. Just think about it. Come on, you have like 1 minute. Just think about it. Take your time. Take your time. You don't have to worry about the clock. Just take your time. h4 is not great right now. I mean, you can play h4, but I'm always responding with g4. Whenever you go h4, I'm not exchanging that. I'm going g4. And now the thing is, after g4, you don't even have bishop to g5 to stop me, because I can just simply take. Now you cannot take on b4 because I take. And then you're losing. You're losing the bishop on g5, unless you take on e3 first, after which I would take. I can exchange this. And after queen to h6, or the simple king h3, king to g2, king to h3 first, I will get g5. I will slowly win this endgame. This is a winning endgame. So after a long thing, he played the move rook h8. There's no bonus, no. You have a 30-second increment from the beginning of the game, and that's it. Game in 90, 30-second increment. No additional time after 40 moves. So right now, Matviishen is going to be in perpetual time trouble. Perpetual time trouble. Again, you don't really have to hurry in this position. You have a lot of, by the way, can I just take? Is this just, like, how is this? I guess go bishop takes a8 and you grovel like this. You try to stop me like this, you grovel. It's a groveling act. We're back to over 1K. There we go. There we go. Welcome, welcome. Back to over 1K. Welcome, everybody. We're watching Fabi's game right now in round 8. These are the championship rounds at the US Masters. Last 2 rounds. Fabi's trailing the leader Nicolas Theodorou after losing to him in a couple of rounds ago. Trailing him by half a point, 6 out of 7. Theodorou at 6.5 out of 7. But this round is looking good. If Fabi manages to win this round, I have a feeling he's going to be the new leader, at least the new co-leader. At least the new co-leader. Silagana, yes, the party is definitely on YouTube. The big party is on YouTube, but there's a more chill party on Twitch as well, depending on what your flavor is. Sure. Since Fabi is probably going to take some time and the position is not going to change as much, let's indeed take a look at what's happening with, oh my goodness, with Nico's board. Where is Nico? Where exactly is Nico? Nico left the chat. Nico left the chat. So Nico did play the move queen to Donchenko did play the move queen e4. Bishop c5. He said, okay, you know what? After e5, I understand you want to go d6. I'm not going to allow you to do that. So in fact, I want to give you a pawn, but at least I'm not going to have to deal with this d6 pawn. So king to h8. Now white is just a pawn up, but there is the presence of the opposite color bishops, which we know opposite color bishops very often they lead to equality. Twitch name is C2pod, C2pod, C squared pod, C2pod. So queen to e2, queen to f5, and bishop to e4. By the way, can I? Probably I cannot take, right? Take, you just go king g2. Yeah. You don't take on f2 because queen takes c4 and that's equal, but you just go king to g2, and now you cannot keep contact with both the bishop on e4 and the bishop on f2. What does this channel represent that you don't like? Why do you stand against everything that this channel represents? Can you elaborate on that? I'm going to give you the floor. What have we done to be so against what this channel represents? You baited me. Congrats. So bishop e4, queen to e6. He refuses to elaborate. We got him, chat. We got him. We got him to run away. Yes, there is a Twitch chat. There is a Twitch chat. There's a YouTube chat. We're taking over both. This channel represents the chess mafia terrorizing poor players. Okay, all right. I see what you're saying. This is a front for the... We're an influence peddling channel for the chess mafia. Influence peddling channel for the chess mafia. All right, queen to e6, queen to c2, and knight to e5 was played. Now it's starting to look... Okay, this is actually just... This, in fact, looks very equal to me. Because the knights are going to be exchanged. So I do think that Nico is probably going to survive this. C2 pod on Twitch. C2 pod on Twitch. Yeah, this is over right now. This is over. This is draw. This is just draw. Okay. So it does seem like Nico is probably going to survive this one. So we're going back to Fabi. We're going back to Fabi because the job is not done yet. The job is looking good, but the job is not done. So Fabi played the move Rook H1. Very good move. H4, provoking something. Provoking a reaction, because otherwise you're just losing the pawn on H5. H4. And now G4. I've already told you once black goes H4, white is going to push G4. Pass by, keep the G pawn, do not exchange. This is the one weakness that you're going for. Rook G8, Rook to A1, H3, King G3, and there's 15 seconds for Matviishen. Matviishen needs to make a move. He finally makes one. Rook to H8. Rook to H8. Played with 8 seconds on the clock. What Fabi can do right now is the very simple King to H2. This is a very soft but a very beautiful move. Because right now you're threatening G5. So the idea of Rook H8 is that if you do hurry up with the move G5, then I can take on G5. It's a very nice idea. And now I just go Rook A to G8, and in fact you're in somewhat trouble. So you can just simply go King H8, King H2. Prepare the move G5. Now you are actually threatening G5. G5 is a big threat. G5 wins a piece, in fact. This is looking good, guys. This is looking like a W for Fabi. Right now, I'm looking at the clock. 18 minutes against 38 seconds. I'm looking at the position. Winning position, you can see the bar. With a simple King H2, a nice type of move that Fabi generally does not miss. He does not miss this type of moves. King H2. On the board, played with alacrity. Rook to G8, now you can just take on B4. This actually might just be over. This actually just might be over. King H2, you take on B4, you take on B4 back, we exchange things on A8, you take back, take G5. You have to go all the way to H8, I go F6. I absolutely kill your bishop on H8, and that's it. I actually think this might just be a resignation time. This might in fact just be resignation time. So I'm going to do this. We're going to do a voice podcast right now because ASMR, end of the show, end of the game situation. Fabiano is looking in tremendous shape right now. A takes B4, and the exchange on A8 has arrived. This is just a matter of time. G5 is coming. You're not stopping g5. And in fact, this might just be resignation time for Mr. Victor Matviishen. And as you can see, it seems like the resignation has happened. And there you have it. And there you have it. Fabiano wins his 8th round in dominant fashion, I would say. He never fell behind on the clock. It felt like he was always in control. It felt like he kept just enough pressure. Just enough pressure to create enough problems for his opponent to make mistakes. So right now, Fabi is sitting at a beautiful and comfortable 7 points out of 8. That's a massive score in such a strong event. And we can... I scared you. I scared you. Why? Why did I scare you? So right now we have a new leader, at least until Nico Theodorou is done with his game, which is going to be probably soon. Because yeah, there's not that much happening in this one. This is going to be a draw. This is the position that we have. There is enough pressure on the square f2 at any point in time. If we exchange the queens, the game is over. And as long as there's no checkmating threats against my king and you just simply don't have enough material to create any checkmating threats, this one is going to be over. This one is going to be a draw. So with that being said, I believe this is finally time for me to once again sign off with a Fabi dub, the type of sign off that I like to do. And that means that I'm going to see you guys for the final championship round with everything on the line. Do not miss it. I'm telling you guys, do not miss it. The evening round is going to be happening in about 3 hours and a half from now. Wherever you are in the world, 3 hours and a half from now. The final championship round, round 9, with the title on the line, with a bunch of circuit points, FIDE circuit points on the line, and most likely going into that one in the co-leadership position. Fabiano and Nicolas Theodorou will both be having 7 out of 8. They're not going to be facing each other. Fabiano most likely will be playing Grigory Oparin. That's 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's right. 5 p.m. Eastern time. To all 1,100 of you, thank you very much for joining. It was a blast, as usual. Let's try to break those records next round, in the evening round. Thanks a lot for joining. Thanks a lot for subscribing, liking the stream, putting it out there, making sure that a lot of people see the stream, making sure that a lot of people join us and grow the channel. We're trying to hit 80K. We're trying to hit 80K, guys. We're very, very close. We're very close to hitting that 80K number, which is a nice number. It's not where we're stopping by any means, but it's a nice number to have. So make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. You won't regret it. We have a bunch of content coming up. So that's it from me. I'm going to go have some lunch, hit a workout or something like that, get some rest, and then I will be back in a little bit. See you guys in about 3 hours and 28 minutes from now.